And welcome to the NI Sevens Challenge, Kirkistown, the 25th of September. This is the final race in the NI Sevens Challenge. Mark Crawford in the white striker here, who we're on board with, currently leads by 11 points. So top four finish. We'll see him crowned challenge winner. He gets a good start, he qualified well. His championship rival, Ryan McGuinness, on the inside going through deaders. Ryan slips into the lead. We're on board as well with Andy Parkinson, down in 5th place. Directly in front of him there's Jimmy Dugan on the left, and Colin Reid in the black striker directly in front. Big gaggle of cars now going through deaders. And it's Ryan from Mark Crawford, from Colin Reid, from Jimmy Dugan, and then Andy. From Andy's point of view then, around deaders and hard under the brakes. Jimmy pulls over to block Andy's way through. Somebody's lighting up the brakes there. Mark has a look around the outside of Ryan. Nothing doing, so he slots in behind him. And out through Colonial 2. Very tight. A bit of a gap then to Andy, and a bit of a gap back from him to Ian Leinster, Johnny Armstrong, Gary Jones, Larry Mawhinney, Davis Buick. Just going a little bit wide, but well, keeping his momentum through Fisherman's. And you can see that's Colin Reid's gone very wide, and Jimmy tries to go up the inside of him there, but loses the back end of the car, holds it together though. No place has changed. Mark is very, very close in behind Ryan, looking to get a draft up the back straight. And he's starting to get that draft, that pull from the air. Alongside, two of them side by side, and they're hard braking now, going into the hairpin. Ryan has the inside line. He holds, and there goes Colin Reid through. Looks like he was using Ryan as a brake. Jimmy Dugan as well, looking left and right to try and get past. Meanwhile, Andy has Ian Leinster alongside him for company. And you can see there are three abreast going through the hairpin, but it's still Mark Crawford and Ryan McGuinness up front. Jimmy Dugan, Andy looks to have fourth. You see Ryan McGuinness coming back at Mark Crawford round the inside of deaders. And it's Ryan from Mark Crawford. Andy Parkinson goes around the outside of Jimmy Dugan for third. Mark hard on the brakes, lighting up the tyres. Ryan driving very defensively. No way past. Meanwhile, back with Andy. He pulls out to the outside. Brakes so late. Gets past Jimmy Dugan, who's no early braker himself. And slots into third place. Very brave move. Colin, meanwhile, in 5th, looking up the inside of Jimmy Dugan to try and take fourth back. Jimmy blocking it off there. Mark stalking his championship challenger. Andy trying to keep an eye then on Mark. Mark, of course, doesn't actually need to overtake Ryan to get the points. Get enough points to make him the NI Sevens Challenge winner for 2010. I'm sure he'd like to. Hard through the hairpin, hard into the hairpin. You can see Andy not quite carrying enough speed out to the exit of the hairpin there, allowing Mark Crawford to get away from him. And Mark, Ian, trying to draft Ryan. Doesn't quite get close enough. Ryan driving very defensively down into the hairpin, not allowing anyone to try and outbrake him up the inside. Very close. But fair, they're giving each other room. With Andy here in third place, having a grandstand view of the battle for the lead and indeed the championship. Ryan leads through deaders from Mark. again has another look around the outside, going down into Colonial, but Ryan's leaving the brakes. Very defensive as well. Andy currently third. Going down into Colonial. And there's Colin Reid. Slips up the inside, going into Colonial to take third. Jimmy Dugan back in fifth. And oh, there's Jimmy Dugan, has been caught in a sandwich between Ian Leinster and Andy Parkinson. No place to go there. I think they're all able to keep going. Mark, meanwhile, reminding Ryan of his presence. From Andy's point of view now, back and forth. Colin Reid appears to have jumped across and made it up to quite close in behind Mark. Again, it'll be interesting down the back straight to see who's drafting who. Andy using every inch of road to try and get close to the three in front. Meanwhile, Mark is drawing Ryan closer. They're just going into the braking area here. Ryan is the inside line, crucially, and is just able to hold it. From Andy's point of view, for fourth place, two guys side by side going through the hairpin. Colin Reid in third, and Andy in a very respectable fourth. Ryan from Mark, from Colin. The front two, Mark still putting pressure on Ryan. And if things finish like this, Mark would be NI7's challenge winner for 2010. I'm sure he'd like to win the race as well. And now in fourth. Front three have developed a little bit of a lead, and Jimmy Dugan slipped through the inside, going down into Colonial 1 as well. There you can see the damage to the back of his car. It was done with a collision between Ian Leinster and Andy, and Jimmy Dugan caught in the middle of that. And there's Ian Leinster as well in behind Andy, looking to put pressure down, going down into Fisherman's, with Gary Jones and Johnny Armstrong in the light blue Westfield having their own battle. Through Colonial 2, and the Fisherman's sit out wide, sweep into the apex. Andy meanwhile looking to hang on to the back of Jimmy Dugan. They apply a little bit of pressure. Jimmy meanwhile hoping to make his way up to the leaders. And Ryan there just got the car a little bit out of shape. That'll take a little bit of speed away from him. And indeed, Mark Crawford now pulls alongside him much earlier up the straight than he has done before. This is probably his best chance. Andy meanwhile draws up in behind Jimmy Dugan. Tries to get the power, just misses the apex a little. And Jimmy gets away from him. And indeed, that's let Ian Leinster through. He has a wee look round just to see where his rival is before applying the brakes. Meanwhile, up front, Mark Crawford on the brakes. Ryan, where is he? On the inside. Still holds the inside and the lead. And plenty of respect from these guys, giving each other the room they need to race. So, through deaders, it's still Ryan McGuinness from Mark Crawford, who's now coming under pressure from the dark car of Colin Reid. Meanwhile, Jimmy Dugan appears to have bridged the gap across to them. The Colonial. Meanwhile, Andy trying to hang on to the back of Ian Leinster, hoping to close up with that group as well. You can see the first 5 cars, not much between them. Gary Jones in the yellow Westfield. Appears to have got past Johnny Armstrong. And Davis Buick. Mark Hamill drive defensively in case Colin Reid tries an overtaking manoeuvre down into Fisherman's, into the Fen. And he's able to watch that first line of 5 cars then. Out of Fisherman's and going down into the chicane. Mark is going to be very careful in the exit of this corner to try and gather as much speed. He's right in behind Ryan. Pulls alongside him. And this could be his best chance for an overtaking manoeuvre. And yes, he pulls across the inside line now, going down into the hairpin. That should see him able to hold on to that lead that he got up the back straight. Hard into the brakes now. Nobody able to squeeze past him. He's able to take the fast line on the way out of the corner. And you can see so many cars, 3 abreast behind him. Jimmy Dugan, Colin Reid on the inside, and the yellow Westfield of Ian Leinster on the outside. Real nose to tail stuff over the start finish line and sweeping down through Deaders. And you can see Mark Crawford already has a few lengths lead over Ryan McGuinness, with Jimmy Dugan in third. Colin Reid having a go at him, not quite able to make it. Andy very good on the brakes, is able to pull right up. Still Jimmy Dugan holds off Colin for third. Oh, and Colin and Jimmy nearly having a coming together there. Out in the lead. Mark Crawford only has to worry about himself. Andy close in behind Ian Leinster. All the infighting that's going on in this group. And there you can see Jimmy getting very sideways in his pursuit of Colin Reid. And that infighting undoubtedly slowing them up a little. And that might allow Mark and Ryan to pull away a little. And also indeed Andy to catch up at the back. He's now starting to put pressure on Ian Leinster. Through that chicane. Might get a good drive out of that. Mark able to take the proper racing line around the hairpin, not worried about anyone trying to overtake him up the inside. So that would seem to suggest he's a little bit of a lead over Ryan McGuinness. Meanwhile, behind him, Andy very late at the brakes, has a look around the outside of Ian Leinster. Isn't really able to hold it, so the guys get away up the inside. Looks to be Colin Reid in third from Jimmy Dugan, from Ian Leinster, from Andy Parkinson. And there you can indeed see Mark Crawford has a little bit of a lead from Ryan McGuinness, who as well has pulled away from the guys all bickering over third place. If it stays like this, Mark Crawford will not only win the race, he'll be the NI7's challenge winner. Jimmy Dugan having a look up the inside of Colin Reid. They both run a little wide. Ryan is able to catch up a little. Third place battle. Absolutely nothing in it. Meanwhile, continues on his way.